So I think now with all that kind of framing, I wanted to kind of talk about, I guess the parents will be able to apply this, but kind of more for the kids too, for the kids that listen, is how to develop or create your own practice plan or development plan without having a coach to hold your hand the whole time. Because this will be a resource that you can use if you're just at home, or if you're using videos that are online, or if you rent the ice with your buddies. This is kind of like a framework you can use to practice on your own without having to have somebody like you or myself hold your hand to walk you through it every step of the way. So the first thing we were talking about was, in terms of creating the plan, is first you got to identify what it is that you want to work on. So if you're going to rent the ice or whatever, you don't want to just go there with no plan. Like you want to have a plan of something that you're going to do. This is what a coach would do, right? Or a skills coach
should.
Should, right?
Some don't. Some don't.
I know. But you want to have an idea of what you need to work on, right? So you want to start with like your one or two things or whatever. So if you want to go on that for a bit.
So you want to look at, okay, like, so you have a plan. What do I want to work on? So what do I need, or what do I want to? They're two different things. But if you want to get better, try to find something that you need to work on. So let's say it's skating. Okay, so let's say I need to be a better skater. Well, what area of skating do you think you need? If you can't figure it out, that's fine. But you need to go to skating, and then you kind of got to come up with something. So again, you can go to your YouTubes, or go to previous sessions that you've done, or you could go to our site and you can pull out the perfect power skating hour, and that'll touch on kind of everything. And then look at the details of listen to it, look at the details, and that'll help you. If it's agility, there's one that we have on there, just skating agility and stick handling agility. So that's what I would do, is you look at what I want to do, then go to the resource to find it, whether it's those things that we just talked about, and then try it.
Yeah, so you already got the second one. Yeah, so it's the resource, right? So find some kind of a resource, whether it's you hired a coach for one session and keep that for the next 5. You have the videos online. You went to YouTube and picked some things, but find a resource. And I want to reiterate again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be optimal teaching. It doesn't have to be the best skills coach ever. It doesn't have to cost you all kinds of money. It doesn't have to be any of that. Whatever fits with what you can afford as the parents, or whatever your kid is willing to do with his time, it can be that. It doesn't have to be the best thing ever. So you need to have some kind of a resource to guide you in terms of what to do. So first point was you find your one or two things you want to work on for this session, or for the next 12 weeks of sessions that you're going to do. And then you go to your resource and pick. Within an hour, you could probably do somewhere, depending how long you do it, somewhere between 4 and 8 drills within that hour, where you can work on one. Yeah, or one, depending on what it is you want to work on.
The point though would be when you commit to something, say like I want to work on skating for that hour. Let's say it's an hour, or maybe you can say skating and stick hand, whatever. But commit to it. Like it's the same thing as going to the gym. I know younger guys might have a harder time, but maybe dads could help with this. Is if you go to the gym, you don't go there and say, okay, I'm going to do 3 squats and 12 sit-ups and whatever. You go, okay, I want to work my legs. So what am I going to do for legs? So number 1 would be I'm going to warm up. Okay, so that's part of the hockey thing too. I'm going to do a little warm up. That could be your inside edging. Second thing I'm going to do is for my legs days, I'm going to do squats. Okay, so squats, and you get how many squats? I'm going to do 4 sets of 10. So that you don't leave that until it's completed, right? So it's the same thing as this. Is maybe you got your inside edge, maybe your outside edge, just to warm up, right? To get loose, and then you start working on. Maybe I'm working on power. So you go through that drill, that thing, and you go, okay, hey, I got 4 sets or 4 lengths of long strides. I got 4 sets of long strides with power with crossovers, and I got 4 lengths, and then you do the program.
Right.
Commit to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it has to be something where you have a plan, and now you're going to commit to it for a period of time, because that's a big issue with people making progress too, is they change the plan too much. So the easiest example of this is with workouts. If you follow any kind of workout prescription or any kind of workout program, it will never be less than 4 weeks. Because unless
you're an Olympic athlete with a pro coach that knows that your muscle adaptations are like that.
Right.
But generally speaking,
for the most part, if you want to progress, let's say you want to get stronger and you want to work on your let's say we'll keep it the legs, you want to do squats. If you do squats the first week, then deadlifts the second week, then a single leg squat the third week, and then you're changing everything all the time. Yeah, you're still doing movement patterns with your legs, but you're not adapting to that particular movement that you wanted to work on, and it's the same thing with a skill. So you need to have a period of time where you're committed to doing it no matter what. So if you're like, I'm bored of this, you committed to 4 weeks of doing this, or committed to 8 sessions of doing this, or whatever.
Or 2 if that's what you pick.
Yeah, or
like,
if 2, whatever you pick, stick to it, and don't change things on the fly. Try to stick to it. You can make modifications within your day, right? But try not to change too quick.
But the other thing is that when you're young, like we're not being totally specific either. So if you pick one day, I want, like this week I want to do stick handling, next week I want to, you're doing general skills, that's fine. But we're just showing you how to do a program.
Exactly. So that's the next one. Then the next thing is going to be deciding how you want to execute the practice. So that's going to be, am I going to rent the ice with my buddies? Am I going to do it at home? Or what is my setup going to be to do this practice? So optimally, hockey practice things on the ice are better because you're actually in the environment of hockey, but it doesn't have to be. It can be, if you don't have access to ice, if you can't afford to rent the ice, if you can't find 6 buddies that want to do it with you, you can do it at home. You can do it in the driveway. I did most of my practice. I used to live on a cul-de-sac. I would put my rollerblades on and I would float around in there doing my practice. Wasn't on the ice. Was it as good as being on the ice? No.
You got a slide board for skating. You can get plyo jumps, one-legged squats as little kids without weight. It's really good.
Yeah, you don't need to have any specific thing, but you can make your environment work. So pick the medium that you're going to use. If you're going to say, okay, my parents said that they'll help me set up 8 sessions on the ice with my buddies, great, do that. And then you can take those drills that you got from your resource and say, okay, there's going to be 8 of us on the ice. So mom and dad, obviously you can help if the kids are really young, but if you're a little bit older and you want to do that, that's perfect. So you can use that on the ice, or you can modify it to be done off the ice. If you watch the stuff that we're doing in the videos on our site, for example, all of the shooting stuff that you do, you can do off the ice. You don't have to do it on the ice, So it doesn't have to be exact to what you're seeing with the resource you're using. You can modify it depending on what the environment is that you have. So pick one and then execute your plan that way.